This is Optimal Finance Daily, Episode 32, How I Write My Monthly Budgets, by Cait Flanders of BlondeOnABudget.ca.
Get ready to maximize your potential with Optimal Finance Daily, the podcast that brings you the best content in personal finance 5 days a week. Your optimal life awaits. Now here's your host, Dan Warren.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Optimal Finance Daily, where I read to you every day from some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. And today I have a post from Cait Flanders of BlondeOnABudget.ca. We've heard from her once or twice before. The post is titled, How I Write My Monthly Budgets. And we do have a talented roster of financial experts, as you know if you're a regular listener, whose content we share with you, but that doesn't mean we're not interested in who you would like to hear from. So if you have suggestions of authors for us, please share them. Go to oldpodcast.com and share your feedback. And if you'd like to get your hands on a really great money tracking spreadsheet that Justin from Optimal Living Daily built just for you, come visit us online at oldpodcast.com. That's oldpodcast.com. And join our free weekly newsletter. You'll get the spreadsheet automatically along with a video tutorial that walks you through it. You can also join very quickly by texting the word financial to the number 44222. That's 44222. Just text the word financial. And with that, let's get today's show going and start optimizing your life. How I Write My Monthly Budgets by Cait Flanders of BlondeOnABudget.ca. If you've been visiting my blog for a while, you know there's 1 week every month where 2 of my posts will include budgets, one for the month that just ended and one for the month ahead. Last week was one of those weeks. I've been writing these posts regularly since November of 2011, with only the odd month or 2 missed. 2 years later, I finally realized I've never actually explained how I came up with the numbers in my budgets. I went to my Facebook page and asked if anyone wanted to read about my budgeting techniques. Your replies inspired today's post. The first thing you should know is that I'd never written a budget in my life until November 2011, months after starting this blog, the name of which stated that I was apparently on one. I knew what a budget should look like, but I had absolutely no idea how to write one or stick to it. 2 years later, I can write a monthly budget in 20 minutes or less. Here's how. 1. I track my spending. It shouldn't come as a surprise considering that the actual column in my budget shows how much I spend each month down to the penny, but I've been tracking my spending for more than 2 years now. I've tried all kinds of techniques for this, cash only, the envelope system, etc. But what works best for me is making the majority of my purchases with a card, usually debit, now sometimes credit. Every Sunday night, I look online at my checking account and credit card transactions, add up what I've spent on each category of my budget, and update the totals in the actual column. By subtracting the actual amount from the budget amount, I'm able to see what's left over for the rest of the month. This helps me stay on track, especially when I'm in the mood to shop and know how much or how little I have left. 2. I write realistic budgets. Here's where the budget numbers started coming from. When I first started tracking my spending, I did so for 3 months straight and by hand. At the end of the first month, I looked at everything I had spent my money on and came up with a list of potential categories for my first budget. For the second and third months, I kept a separate piece of paper for each of those categories. At the end of the 3 months, I added up the 3 monthly totals for each category, for instance gas, and divided the total by 3. This gave me the average I spent on every category each month. Once I had the averages for each category, my first budget basically wrote itself. For example, if I had spent an average of $145 on gas, I allotted $150 for gas in my budget. Doing this for each category not only made my budget easy to stick to, it gave me a sense of accomplishment every time I was able to finish a month and see that I had stayed on budget. One important thing I forgot to add before I hit publish on this post is the fact that I don't practice zero-based budgeting. With zero-based budgeting, the balance at the bottom of your spreadsheet is the exact amount you take home each month. I budget for a little bit less than what I take home each month, and I do that for one major reason. It gives me breathing room. Breathing room gives me the opportunity to keep a little bit of money in my checking account at all times, and it also lets me pay for unplanned expenses. What if my car needed an unexpected repair, or I lost my wallet and needed to replace my IDs? What if? Life is full of them because things happen. By budgeting for a little bit less than what I make, I have room to go over budget if needed, or to just add another category if something unexpected comes up. This type of budgeting doesn't work for everyone, but it works for me. 3. I plan ahead and change my budget accordingly. So that's where my budget amounts came from at first, but the most important part of budgeting is to plan ahead and change your budget accordingly. My budget fluctuates monthly depending on what my savings goals are and whether or not there are any new categories I may need to add. For example, my October budget needed a new category for moving expenses. If I have a couple of birthdays to celebrate, I'll add a category for gifts. If I want to get my hair cut or highlighted, I'll allocate more to my personal care budget. And whenever I decide to start saving for Christmas or vacation, I simply add it to the budget. I don't follow any of those budgeting systems out there that you hear of, like the 50-20-30 rule, or the one that says no more than 15% of your budget should be going towards debt repayment. In my eyes, budgets are part of what make personal finance so personal. You have to make yours work for you. Anyway, that's how I write my monthly budgets. Do you write a budget each month? If so, how did you start? And if not, what's stopping you from trying? You just listened to the post titled How I Write My Monthly Budgets by Cait Flanders of BlondeOnABudget.ca. If you'd like to share your thoughts regarding this topic or this author, come visit us at oldpodcast.com and share your thoughts. And Cait mentioned that she tracks her spending using categories, and like I mentioned at the top of the show, you can get that automated Excel spreadsheet that does this very thing for you quite easily if you join our weekly newsletter. Justin over at Optimal Living Daily has been tracking his spending down to the penny for over 6 years, and he's now sharing his system, his spreadsheet, with you for free. So again, to join the newsletter, text the word financial to 44222, or you can visit oldpodcast.com and join. That way, it's a great way to show your support for the podcast and to keep it going, and we very much appreciate it. That is it for episode 32. I'll see you in tomorrow's show, where I'll read a post about passive income. See you there, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from amazing bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode, and head to oldpodcast.com, that's oldpodcast.com, for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.